British culture and identity are once again under attack, and the corporate media are finding the whole thing funny for some reason. Alright, so over the last few years we've seen a trend of movement, a far leftist movement in the West that goes against facts, goes against reality, goes against science and common sense. It started with obviously it started with a lot of things, but more recently, in the last 10 years, we had the militant feminist movement, and then we had the LGBTQ plus movement expanding its reach, and then we had the BLM movement, then you had the eco-militants movement, you had every area. They're attacking us from all sides, and the reason I say this is an attack on British culture and identity, even though this story is actually about a new book that is claiming that Britain was always a black country, so technically it's a racial issue. Firstly, they are blackwashing Britain and its history. It's a children's book, and in this video we're going to show you this book and tell you what they're saying. Brilliant Black British History. They're teaching kids as young as 7 a nonsensical version of history, and the whole thing basically is a new anti-white children book. And so while this is a racial thing, the attack is on the whole of the British concept, which is British culture, identity, and English identity, Welsh identity, Scottish identity, Irish identity, and the history of this nation. So, for those who know, the island, this island, was Britain from the beginning. It was called, Britannia, and then we had the tribes in England. Then they created the Anglo-land, which was then called England. And then obviously the different parts then was created. Then they created the political union, the Act of Union. But since then, you had a lot of people from the political left trying to erase or rewrite history. This book, for example, part of it says that Britain was a black country for more than 7,000 years before white people came. And during that time, the most famous British monument was built, Stonehenge. So they are now claiming Stonehenge was built by... That's not the only bit. They also say Britain has been a mostly white country for a lot less time than it has been mostly a black country. Considering these islands, the way they were populated, especially around the Roman Empire times, and it was mostly by the Romans and the natives who were northwestern Europeans and were white. I'm not really sure what these people are talking about. So, unless you're going to go back to the dinosaurs age and before the continents were created the way they are, you are talking nonsense. We also have the facts, basic facts and logic. So, in 2018, there was a research into the Cheddar Man. You know the Cheddar Man? It was obviously the oldest example or sample of a living human here. They checked the DNA and they said it was impossible to know with certainty how this early inhabitants looked, basically, in terms of skin color. And other researchers noted problems with attempting to predict the skin tone from the genetic model used. Recent genetic analysis actually shown that the inhabitants of Britain in the period when Stonehenge was completed around 2500 BC were pale-skinned early farmers whose ancestors had spread from Anatolia. Obviously, we know that already. I'm not really sure why. This is so anti-white. These people are so racist that they are doing anything to basically erase white people. So, and if you do that with any other race, then you'll be in prison. But clearly it's okay with doing it with white people. Calvin Robinson of GB News has said this brilliant black history book is supposed to be a children's book. It teaches a revisionist history full of hyperbole and lies. They say the first Britons were black, blacks built Stonehenge, and Britain was a black country. The Tudors, Stuarts, and Romans were also black, apparently, according to this book. I mean, it's bad. This stuff is bad because, and we have to keep exposing them on a regular basis because there are some parents who would like it. There are some virtue signaling parents who are like, yes, they're going to find this book and proactively reading it to their kids if we don't challenge it. So, Tom Rosell, who is a historian and obviously on YouTube as well, said, Stonehenge was built by people who were genetically the same as modern-day Sardinians, except that they had lived in northwest Europe for over 2,000 years. So they were lighter. There is nothing black about them. These are the two reconstructions of the Neolithic men from the British Isles. All the skeletons from Britain dated between 4000 BC and 2500 BC. Belong to this race known as the early European farmers, and none of them were African. We know that. Bloomsbury Publishing, the publishers, should be taken to court for publishing outright lies in their book, Brilliant Black British History, in which they claim that these people were black. At no point in the history of this island has it been mostly black, i.e. populated by sub-Saharan African people. They are utterly discredited by publishing such nonsense. So I personally advocate for anyone who is willing to, if you're a lawyer or if you have a legal team, to start a campaign against this, because I think it's the right thing to do for these people to be taken to court. And that's the whole point of the rule of law that we have in this country. And I will be promoting that campaign on this channel. So if you know someone who's willing to start something on this issue, my email address is in the description. Or if you find out some update, maybe someone else is going to start some sort of legal case, let me know. Keep me posted on this as well if you guys hear something before me, and we will keep you guys up to date with everything else regarding this story and all the other wokey nonsense happening in our country, erasing and rewriting the past. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to watch all the other videos I've posted throughout the day. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.